A very good afternoon to you and welcome to the African News and Voice of the People television. I am Promise Enyi. Before we begin the news, kindly visit our website on www.vop.ng for fresh and trending stories daily. The authorities of heads of states and government of the Economic and Community of West African States, Ecowas, has given Burkina Faso, Mali and Niger 6 months to consider their withdrawal from the regional body. President of the Ecowas Commission, Dr. Umaru Toure, disclosed this at the conclusion of the 66th Ordinary Session of the Authorities of Heads of States and Governments in Abuja. The 6 months window, which comes after the countries notified ECOWAS of their intentions to leave, starts from January 29, 2025. Consequently, a transitional period set to last until July 29, 2025 has been established to allow these countries the opportunity to reconsider and potentially rejoin the organization. Toure explained that the authorities had taken note of the notifications from the 3 countries regarding their decision to withdraw from the organization. He added that, in line with the provisions of the Article 91 of the revised ECOWAS Treaty, the 3 countries would officially cease to be members of ECOWAS from January 29, 2025. However, the ECOWAS heads of states have extended the mandate of President Faso Gnassingbé of Togo and President Macky Sall of Senegal to continue their mediation efforts until the end of the transition period. And moving on, the United Nations is convening a fresh meeting of Libya's experts in an attempt to revive the long-awaited national elections. In a statement, the acting head of the UN mission in Libya, Stephanie Kouré, said the experts will be charged with developing options to overcome contentious issues in the electoral laws. Now, according to him, the items of reference of this committee will also include developing options for a clear framework of governance, with milestones and priorities for a consequently established government. National elections scheduled for December 2021 were abandoned amid dispute over the eligibility of the main candidates. An AU-backed political process to resolve the more than a decade conflict in the North African country has since stalled. In August, the Libyan parliament sitting in Tobruk in the east voted to the end of the term of the Tripoli-based government of the Prime Minister Abdul Hamid Dbeibeh. Libya is governed by 2 rival administrations based in the east and west, respectively. An election would establish a single national government, military, and unity state institutions. And away from Libya now, suspected terrorists have killed 39 civilians, including women and children, in 2 separate attacks in western Niger's conflict-torn boundaries. The Defense Ministry said in a statement that the attackers struck the communities of Kokoro and Libiri without giving further details of the date of the bloodshed. Niger and its neighbor in West African Sahel region, Mali and Burkina Faso, are in the front line of the battle to contain an insurgent threat that has steadily grown since 2012, when an al-Qaeda-linked fighters first seized parts of Mali. And now in DRC, officials said talks due Sunday between the leaders of Rwanda and the Democratic Republic of Congo to end the conflict in the eastern DRC were called off after renegotiations deadlock. Since 2021, a Rwandan-backed militia and largely ethnic Tutsi M23 rebels have since 2021 seized Swats and eastern DRC, displacing thousands and triggering a humanitarian crisis in that region. There had been high hopes that the summit hosted by Angola's President João Lourenço, the African Union leader, to end the conflict would end with a deal to end the conflict. However, about midday on Sunday, the head of the Angolan Presidency Media Office, Mario Jorge, told newsmen that Lourenço was meeting with DRC leader Felix Tshisekedi and without Rwandan President Paul Kagame. According to the Congolese presidency spokesperson, who was present in Luanda, Giscard Kusama, there was a statement because the Rwandans have set and precondition for the signing of an agreement that the DRC holds a direct dialogue with the M23 rebels. Rwanda Foreign Minister Olivier Dubungere had told newsmen that his country wanted a firm commitment from the DRC to resume direct talks with the M23 within a well-defined framework and time frame. Moving on, the Scottish government has pledged €375,000 to help victims of Sudan conflict. The funding will support vital humanitarian projects and for some of the estimated 30 million people affected by the famine, displacement, and gender-based violence that have ravaged Sudan since fighting broke out in that region in April 2023. In what the United Nations has described as one of the largest displacement crises in history, the war has claimed an estimated 150,000 lives and driven 11.5 million people from their homes. The funding, delivered through Scotland's Humanitarian Emergency Fund, HEF, will enable charity partners, Christian Aids, Cheat Fund, and Islamic Relief to deliver assistance to Sudan and South Sudan and neighboring Chad. This comes as a report by the Human Rights Watch documented horrifying levels of sexual violence, rape, and sexual slavery in the country's conflict zones, citing the rebel Rapid Support Forces fighters and allied militias as culprits. And now in Mozambique, Cyclone Chido struck Mozambique on Sunday, unleashing powerful winds and raising alarms about potential devastations after traversing islands in the southeastern Indian Ocean. Footage shared by the UN Children's Fund revealed boats wrecked along the shore and shore and palm trees bending under the force of the winds. Cabo Delgado province, which is home to approximately 2 million residents, has suffered significant damage. The storm has claimed at least 11 lives in the French territory of Mayotte, with the nearby islands of Comoros and Madagascar also feeling its impact. Well, joining us to analyze these stories in the studio is Barrister Darlington Agomo, who is a legal expert and also VOP in-house analyst. Good afternoon, Barrister Darlington. Good to have you, sir.
Good afternoon, Promise Child. How are you?
I am fine, thank you. I like your tone this afternoon.
Really?
Seems you're quite excited. So let's start off with Niger and the neighboring states. Ecowas has told, Burkina Faso, Mali, and Niger that they are giving them 6 months to reconsider their stance of moving away from Ecowas. They've been in all of these things. I think middle of this year, we've been going off and on. At some point, there was some sanctions, especially to Niger, by the chairman of the Ecowas, who is our president. And at some point, I think because it kind of affected Niger airspace and it affected Nigerian travel policies and businesses, that sanction was withdrawn. What do you make of all of this? Do you think Niger and Mali are going to reconsider, or you think they've moved on?
Yeah, they have moved on. They said it. They have formed their own union along the Sahel region. I think one of their greatest misgivings or anger or displeasure is that the Nigerian leader, who's supposed to be the chairman of Ecowas and then protect the interests of the members of the bloc, is in bed with their colonial master, who is their main oppressor here.
When you say he's in bed with their colonial masters?
Yes, because he's hobnobbing with them.
Could you expatiate further?
Yes, he didn't see anything wrong in doing business with France, in traveling there, hobnobbing with them.
But Barrister Darling, that was just a few weeks ago. That was a few weeks ago when he made that agreement and signed that agreement.
Before now.
He travels for medical, it was medical trips, Barrister Darlington.
Hold on.
It wasn't business.
Even while this matter was going on, remember, when Niger left, there was a diplomatic row between all the Western world and Niger, that one Kamala Harris had to call Tinubu to do something, just because they want these people to come back and all that. And all the effort Tinubu made didn't come to, didn't bear any fruit. Meanwhile, Tinubu was, still traveling to France, doing things with France. I was thinking that a chairman of a bloc like Ecowas, who really meant to protect his people, would have, caused a sanction against France by withdrawing their diplomats from Nigeria because of what they are doing to their colonies. We didn't have such an agreement with our own Anglophone colonial masters now. So why did the Tinubu saw all those things and he's still doing business with France? He's still hobnobbing with them. What does that tell you?
You mean one of the businesses you mean is the mining agreement signed between Nigeria and France?
No, not even that. Not even that. Having friendship with... in fact, he had traveled to France more than any other Western country. I mean, Tinubu.
They say it's for medical trips.
Is that the only place where they can treat him? I'm talking of protecting your bloc. These are part of the reasons why the people felt that, look, their interests are not protected. If I were in their shoes, I would do worse things. So, living is just a very minor issue. Because these are colonial matters that have been oppressing them over the years. Tinubu saw all that thing and is very comfortable with it. That means you don't even have the balls to protect your own bloc, your own people. Why would I be there? I was thinking that Tinubu would have raised a very big issue out of what Burkina Faso and all these other countries said about France.
About France.
Yes, a very big issue. But he just kept quiet.
And I think one of the major things the Mali, Niger, and Burkina Faso are focusing on and accusing France of is them mining their mineral resources.
Without any compensation.
And mandating them to transfer their yearly acquisition back to France.
And when they want to collect...
Up to 80%. Yes. And when they want this money, they can get only 20% of it. That is still kind of colonialism going on, even though they are an independent country and state of their own.
That is why France did not even make one single noise. They know that they have been very wicked to these people. Instead of Tinubu to protect them and say, look...
And France is also, Barrister Darlington, France is also a UN member. Isn't that an irony? Or isn't it hypocritical? You are a United Nations member. You are part of the Western countries that are saying you are against colonialism. You are against oppression. But somehow these Anglophone, Francophone countries have found themselves being suppressed by you. Isn't that hypocrisy from France?
No, you see, you have gained independence. It is left for you to chart a course, like these people did now. Look, promise.
Sir?
In the diplomatic world, you are on your own. No? In the diplomatic world, it is what? Dog eat dog. Nobody have any time to spare you all these courtesies and niceties. You have to fight your way to the top there. I'm telling you, if you don't have the muscle to muzzle your way, then they will eat you like a lunch. That's what happened there. If you say you're an independent nation and you cannot be independent, whose fault is that? Is it the problem of a United Nations? Did they ask you not to?
So, Barrister, why do we have these bodies? Example, African Union. What is the essence of African Union?
Look,
what is the essence of United Nations?
Good. It is left for you because you see this sovereignty of a state. I've said it here before. We need to tinker with it. Because all this noise about is a sovereign state, non-interference, even if one leader there is killing all their people, you will not interfere. Even though the worst crime is going on, you will not interfere, as long as the people are comfortable. That is what this is all about, non-interference. So whatever is going on, the moment you start with the is an internal matter. It's as simple as that. So until you rise up and say, look, we are not, when at least 80% of the people say, look, we don't want this. Maybe that's when the international community will now look at us, okay, something is happening here, let's look at it. That is only time. But if you are comfortable with nobody will talk. Like the coupists now, is anybody talking to them? Because they believe the people are comfortable with it. It's as simple as that. That is what happened. So I was thinking that the Tinubu should have done something as an ECOWAS leader to protect these people. Now that they have left.
To our member brothers.
Exactly. Because your original bloc is more important than any other bloc. They are your next door neighbor here.
So it seems you're hobnobbing with international bodies more than your brothers.
Your own people, you even love them more than your people, even though you know that they're oppressing your people. You are now happy and comfortable with. So why should I remain in such an organization myself? Why should I? So these guys are right. That's why if you check, even the ECOWAS countries, they are not even too keen because they know that they have cheated these people. They have disappointed them.
So Barrister, you think more ECOWAS states are going to move away from
it? It
ECOWAS?
is possible.
There is a possibility you're saying.
It is possible because if these people succeed and they are moving on and things are working for them, others will say, then why are we in ECOWAS?
We still have some francophone countries like Niger,
exactly.
Benin Republic is there.
It's there.
Togo is there too.
I'm telling you. So moving out will be is a piece of cake. They can just wake up and say we are moving out tomorrow. Because these other people that moved, they have moved on. So
where does that leave ECOWAS? It's looking like it's going
very
to...
soon. The only ECOWAS will be hearing maybe Ghana and Nigeria.
And Nigeria.
Let them remain there. Yes, that's what happens when you have a bad leader. Please, can you, in all honesty, tinker with any American ally? Look at how America was supporting Israel during their war. Look at how America... Look at all the way...
Or EU member states not supporting an EU member state and going to support a South American country, for example.
Look at Ukraine that have not become a member of NATO. Look at how the Western European Union are supporting them. Look at how they are piling out arms and all that, giving Ukraine to fight Russia. If not for this support, this war would have ended... In fact, Russia would have taken over Ukraine long ago. But because the NATO and the EU are behind Ukraine, but in Africa here, African leaders are sell out.
But Barrister, before we move on, one quick question. Do you think this hobnobbing of our president with France is going to in a way affect our relationship with especially Burkina Faso, Mali, and Niger in future? Because nobody knows what's going to happen tomorrow.
Look,
diplomatically, is it going to affect Nigeria as a country in future?
Yes, it will, because the exploitation will not show up now until later. If you check now, France is looking they are looking for another ally in West Africa. Having lost Niger, Burkina Faso. And
you think Nigeria fits that position?
Good. That was why they made that deal. You think they came to give you money? France is down financially. If you come to Europe now, the biggest economy in Europe is Germany. France is not even there at all. So they are shopping for new trading partners. And they discover that Nigeria have mineral resources they can exploit. Nothing else. They are not coming here to do Father Christmas for you. They don't even have what to give you. So when Tinubu was going there for whatever, I was just looking at this man and said, what is all this? If US did not help you, UK did not help you, is it France that will help you? What do they have to offer? I mean, look at it yourself.
And this leaves me to wonder why can we not as a country harness our mineral resources ourselves?
In fact, I have asked that question.
Why do we need external countries to do that for us?
That will tell you that we are not ready to succeed as a nation. We are not ready. We are not ready. Every time, reform, new hope, renewed hope. Meanwhile, you have not sat down to look inwards. Look at what God has blessed us with that we are not even making use of. Rather, we're calling people to come and take it away from us. Then when they finish exploiting it, because no natural resources is inexhaustible. At a point, this thing will be exhausted. And then we'll be left with the short end of the stick. Now that God has given us this, why can't we make use of it and develop our nation? This other nation that you go to enjoy all the good things of life, how did they build it? It is resources from Africa. Resources from Africa, that's what they are using. And you that they are collecting it from your own backyard, you don't even know what to do with it. Rather, when they use it, you now go there to enjoy what they did with it. And you are telling me you're a leader. You are telling me you're a leader. Can any African country go to Europe and take one of their minerals and come back here? You know, it can never happen. Not in this, on this earth. It can never happen. But you African leader who claim to be whatever, You will be here willing. In fact, you sign an agreement and ask them, come and take, come and take. You will be begging them to come and take, as if you don't like.
Is it that African leaders are looking for shortcuts? Or are we lazy? Are we truly lazy to think out of the box, to make something meaningful out of African economy?
We never had leaders. It's even worse, because if Nigeria have led the way, others would have followed.
As the giant of Africa, you're saying?
Yes. Nigeria gave a very bad example of leadership. That's why other African nations have failed. Ordinarily, they should be looking up to Nigeria. And Nigeria would have made a very big capital out of it.
Are we still that big brother to other African countries?
The way it is,
or
I
is
don't
it
know.
just by numbers? Are we giants by numbers?
In fact, we are just big slaves now. We are just big slaves, the way I'm looking at it. Well, because of our number, we are just big slaves, where they come and shop for whatever they want and go away. Now, Nigeria have lost it big time. We have lost it.
All right.
If you cannot make use of this mineral resource, please, what else can we go to make use of to develop? Except to go and borrow easy money. Easy money, go and borrow. You don't ask yourself, this money I'm borrowing, somebody made it. Somebody grew this economy.
From World Bank, IMF, and other
everywhere.
countries.
You go and borrow. Look, it's embarrassing.
All right, but Barrister, let's move on now. Let's talk about the crisis between DRC, the Democratic Republic of Congo, and Rwanda now, because it seems like the peace talks between them has collapsed over President Kagame's demands. Barrister, I remember that this 3 decades ago, this conflict started because of the Rwandan war, because there's the Hutu and Tutsi war, where the Hutus killed almost 1 million Tutsis. And after then, it was said that quite a number of Hutus ran to the Democratic Republic of Congo. So that is why Kagame is somehow fingered, to be sponsoring this crisis in Democratic Republic of Congo, even though he has not publicly accepted that yet.
Even the M23 rebels I think their base is in Rwanda.
Is in Rwanda,
yes,
because he has been fingered severally of sponsoring them against DRC.
Because the Western world are using him. If
you think
check,
so?
yes, because if not, look at it yourself. Rwanda has become an easy passage for all the mineral resources from DR Congo, because of the closeness. So it's from Rwanda that they take it out of the region. That's why UK decided to take some of the asylum seekers to Rwanda. When that relationship was going on, what do you think was going on? You mean they just wake up and start doing? No. It's for that evil trade to be going on. Rwanda gave them easy passage in exchange for them or this thing they are getting from them. The economy of Rwanda, what do you think is sustaining it? It is the mineral
of Rwanda. Yeah, he has been allegedly being responsible for mining the natural resources of Democratic Republic of Congo.
He couldn't have been doing all these things for nothing. It's not possible. He couldn't have been doing it for nothing. So that is the game plan. And that is why the Western world have seen him as an ally, because he allows them easy passage of these mineral resources from his own country. Because it's easy for them to bring it from DR Congo into Rwanda. Then from Rwanda, anything can happen.
So Barrister, isn't it almost the same thing you're talking about Nigerian president now, supporting the Western allies instead of your African brothers?
Exactly.
Rwandan president is doing almost the same thing.
I said we don't have leaders in Africa. And when I said it, these are my reasons. We don't have leaders in Africa.
So you're saying African leaders are used as puppets?
I am telling you, except that of South Africa, that we maybe because of the whites there. The white man cannot do all those things over there because of their brother. And as a matter of fact, the South African economy is being held by the whites. If not, that economy,
but the black men are the presidents.
Yes. If not, that economy would have collapsed. You saw what Jacob Zuma did in office. That he went there to go and loot. And they had to stop him. So that South African economy is strong today because of the white men there who are holding the economy, And their Western brothers will not go there to do all this they are doing. They can't do it there. They can't, because they know that the economy is in strong hands. But in Africa, all these greedy African leaders who just want personal aggrandizement, that is all. All these things now, go and check. They have built estate in the Western world. Luxury apartment, luxury this, luxury that. With money they would have used to develop their own country. And these evil Western leaders are aware. They know. That's why they're in business. The moment you get any African leader who wants to assert himself, they will start planning coup and all that against him. And start doing all. But you don't have a leader who you can even, people can rally around and say,
was that what happened to Gaddafi, even though we're going to touch...
yes, Gaddafi tried. Yes, Gaddafi tried as a leader. Yes, he tried for his people.
But the Western countries was against him, especially NATO countries. They were one of the people who killed him anyway.
It was U.S., Obama, in fact, Obama regretted
majorly NATO countries.
Yes, Obama regretted what happened later. He said it himself. He said they regretted removing Gaddafi without thinking of an alternative. And that was why...
So Gaddafi is no longer a villain right now?
No, he wasn't. Remember...
But they made him look like a villain.
Because you, Africa, did not understand. That's what I'm telling you here. Is it not similar to what happened to Nigeria when they told us that Jonathan is the devil himself? And they used propaganda and all manner of things, including Obama. He was among those who campaigned against Jonathan. So it is left for you, Africans, to know who represents your interests best. Not all these charlatans who were imported from abroad to come and lead you. Some people are representing a Western interest in their countries. You think they are leading you? No, they are not leading you. Their soul, their heart, their liver is somewhere abroad. Because that is where he signed an agreement with them. I mean, we can see it. You can see it. If a president is an active CIA agent, what do you think is going on?
Barrister, that has not been...
no, it's part of it.
It has not been confirmed.
What are you talking? Hold on, please. When we are discussing this thing, we are not talking of rumor here. We are not talking of rumor.
Barrister, it was someone's expose. It was somebody's expose.
Somebody is in court because of this matter, and you think it's a joke. This thing came out from a U.S. court. It's not by the roadside. It was not discussed on a gossip column of any newspaper. The CIA said it themselves. So what is the rumor here? There's nothing like rumor. Everything has not been confirmed. Are you telling me that Tinubu will come and tell you that, yes, he is the one? No, tell me, will you come out and accept that?
Barrister, yes? Is the same US that has refused to oblige those people, the FIP, with the Freedom of Information Bill now, and give them every document they need to fight that Chicago issues. So you're saying...
So that's it. So you don't need to, when the handwriting is on the wall, you can read it. You don't need anybody to tell you. There's no day Tinubu will come out and accept that he's guilty. He can never. He can never. That is it. But the facts have been exposed. I was thinking he would challenge Atiku and other people, but he could not because the facts are there.
Barrister Darlington, let's still move over to Libya now, because it seems like since during when Gaddafi was alive, there were lots of crises in Libya. That's what they make people believe, and they made people believe that killing him or taking him off, could bring kind of succor to Libya. But it seems like the country has been getting worse since he died. For example, Libya has not been able to conduct elections since 2021. Everybody wants to be a president. Everybody wants to be a leader. In fact, they have two factions, the people who supported Gaddafi and the people who didn't support him. There have been lots of issues in Libya to the fact that they have two leaders. They've not been able to conduct elections in that country. And some people are saying that it looks like every country the U.S. goes into, there seems to be kind of crisis in those countries, unending crisis. Do you share the same thoughts?
Yes. They don't want any African country to rise up to anything. Remember that before Gaddafi died, the per capita income in Libya was 6 times higher than that of America. In fact, Americans were going to Libya to do some menial jobs because of the strong economy they have. You know that. Libyans were enjoying under Gaddafi. You know that. The man was using the oil revenue to better the lot of Libyans. Free house, free everything. The American government discovered this and it became an embarrassment to them. That was the same thing they did to us in 1970s. When they discovered that the Naira was stronger than the dollar and they were selling the Naira at the streets of New York, it was debated in the U.S. Congress that how can the currency of a third world country be sold in the streets of New York? This thing was debated in the Congress. the American government was miffed that how can a third world country be this strong and all that? And they descended on Nigeria to ravage the place. Today, the rest is history. So they don't want, unfortunately, you don't have leaders who will live up to them and say, look, we are an independent nation. We don't want all these things. Look at China. China damned them and said, to hell with your whatever. They closed their doors. By the time they opened the door, a new China emerged. And when you are running to them for whatever, you want to drink tea in the morning, you run to America to go and borrow milk. You want to cook soup in the afternoon, you run to UK to go and borrow fish and Maggi. Is that a country?
Talking about
how can you move forward like that?
Talking about relying on the Western countries now, Scotland's government has pledged 375,000 euros, pounds, to help victims of Sudan crisis. They are still helping because it appears that these countries are helping the underdeveloped countries to survive, especially in crisis-torn areas.
My dear, leave that thing. If they give you 10 naira, they have collected 100 naira from you. Those people, there is no free lunch as far as they are concerned. No. Who fueled the crisis in Sudan in the first place? Who are the brain behind it? You've forgotten that the mineral resources in Sudan is the issue here. Have you forgotten? Who be in control?
Why is it always about the in Congo, it's about the mineral resources. So, Sudan, and the same thing. We'll have the same issues. So, why is it always about the natural resources they have?
They want to use it to develop their country. Promise. They are using it to sustain their life. They don't have all this thing that God gave you. How long are we continuing to say this into African leaders? What God has blessed you with, the Western world don't have it. That's why they are coming here to exploit it. And if you cannot give it them freely, they will now orchestrate war among yourself. While you are fighting, they will be making the resources. They will arm these people and arm these people. Two of you will be fighting while they are taking your resources. It's as simple as that. A very crude way of doing things. Meanwhile, you claim to be a leader who knows, yet you have put on your thinking cap. To ask yourself, why are we fighting? Who is behind this fighting? What is the problem? You will not. Because they will give you crumbs from the table. And you think that they are saving the money for you somewhere. Then while you are killing your people here, you are fighting. It's your mineral resources. Nothing else. Go and look around. Anywhere there is problem, go and check. It's all about who will take over the mineral resources of that country. And you have African leaders who cannot think. Promise, people cannot think. People, when you see how they are behaving, you ask yourself, God, where was I when you gave these people power? Because you can't even put a handle to what they are doing to say, the man who is doing this, does he love his country? Is he serious at all? You don't think of your future generation. You don't think of the destiny of your country. You just hand it over to the Western power because you want to remain the only rich man. Because they are giving you crumbs from the table. Nothing else. At the end of the day, they will be full of regret. They will even die abroad like Mobutu Sese Seko. What's the other one? Idi Amin of Uganda. Emperor Bokassa. All of them, at the end of the day, they die miserably after plundering their country. Is that leadership? After using one, they will take over to the other one. And when we are telling these people here, they say you should not talk. You should keep quiet. Since you kept quiet, how far? Have they done anything right? The answer is no. You want to go and hobnob with an enemy of your people. And you are claiming those people to... look, up to tomorrow, I thank what those people did in Niger, Mali, and Burkina Faso. They left because they didn't find any protection under Ecowas. They didn't. This is something that would have made a very big issue in the UN. And the Tinubu would have led the boy. Does he have the mouth to do that? Promise, can Tinubu challenge any Western leader here? The Western world, can Tinubu challenge them in what they are doing in Africa? Not even in Ecowas.
Oh, he's the chairman of Ecowas.
But can he talk?
He's there to have the back of other countries and other states.
Can he talk? He's the leader here. Can he talk? He can't talk. I challenge him to challenge France on what he's doing to his colonial states. Let him challenge them. Or challenge America on what they are doing in DR Congo.
So
it's all on paper. They don't have, I told you here that what we have here are local champions.
So you're saying the Western countries in summary, are using African leaders against themselves.
They are using them. They install the worst among us. They install them in power so that they can do business with them.
Barrister Darlington, talking about installing presidents, you remember what happened during former President Jonathan's regime? People wanted change. That was how the crusade for change came in,
yes,
and they brought former President Muhammadu Buhari.
I said the Obama campaign against Jonathan.
So speaking about that, now, former Minister for Sports and Youth, Solomon Dalong, is saying that, in fact, Buhari was also used and dumped. This is according to Dalong now. He said Buhari's charisma was needed for the political elite to eliminate Jonathan.
Yes.
This is according to Solomon Dalong, former minister, eliminate Jonathan. That Buhari was also seen as a stranger in his own government. He insinuated that a lot of things that happened during former President Muhammadu Buhari's government, he had no idea about what was happening in his government. But he was the president. And he was seen as anti-corruption crusader.
They just want to use him to keep him there while they do whatever. At a point, this man called Abakari was the president. He was giving appointments, signing documents on behalf of Buhari. We saw it here. Chief of staff, not even vice president.
Barrister, you remember that former President Buhari is always, every picture you see him, a picture of him that comes on air, he's always with newspapers. He was always with newspapers, reading newspapers. So those newspapers he was reading, was it not about Nigeria? Didn't he know what was happening every day in the country?
He was not reading anything. Some people package him in such a manner. Buhari read what? Read which paper?
Buhari, you're saying the former President Buhari could not read?
Buhari read what?
He can't read?
Buhari who cannot read memo, he's reading paper. Let me please talk. They package him like that so that the people will believe that he's aware of what is going on. You think we don't know what they are doing? It was properly packaged in such a manner so that when you say, this man is reading what is a lie.
For 8 years.
They just showed him to know that he's aware of what is going on. Meanwhile, he doesn't.
Barrister Darlington, what you're saying that facade continued for 8 years.
If he has said
after 4 years, people still voted for him for second tenure.
Good. Was there an election? God Almighty.
There was an election, sir. Was there not an election? There was an election in 2019.
Really?
Yes.
And it was free and fair election.
Barrister Darlington, was it not free and fair?
Oh my God. You look, no matter how you think that Nigerians behave, I know very well that they cannot open their eyes. They cannot open their heart and vote APC into power after what Buhari did. It's not possible. It is not possible. I am telling you, if election is all about performance in office, what can you vote Buhari back to office for? Can you mention? Nothing. So how did he win an election? You don't need to be told that that election was heavily rigged.
Barrister Darlington, the APC also won in 2020.
Was it equal?
People still believed in APC.
No.
There are people, millions of people who voted for them.
I said, leave that thing, promise, leave that thing.
Right.
Even APC know what they did. Okay, what happened in Edo and Odo State, it is only an election, Abi. It was equally an election. That election was free and fair. Is that not what you're telling me? No, hold on. No. This is an off-cycle election. Yes, the election in Ndo and Edo that happened recently. It was equally a free and fair election. No, tell me now.
Was it not, Barrister Darlington?
It was, and INEC is telling you that they have learned a lesson from what happened in Edo. INEC chairman said
they found 140-something ways to curb electoral malpractices.
So, I mean, we have not had it good with APC. We have not.
Did we have it better with PDP?
Oh my God! At least those people had conscience. Promise.
Sir?
If I'm out to choose, I would prefer they take us back to where we are coming from. You know all these people that say we don't want to go back to Egypt. You see this PDP Egypt, we want to go back there. We want to go back.
But there was massive corruption during the PDP administration,
can you
especially Goodluck Jonathan's administration.
Can you compare that corruption?
High number of insecurity.
Hold on.
There were bombs going off right and center in Abuja, and people were tired of it.
My dear, was it like this? Remember that those things were orchestrated just to make Jonathan look bad. You have forgotten. This was clearly planted to make Jonathan look bad. It's as simple as that. It wasn't this bad. Okay, since they came into office, how far? We are talking about Boko Haram under Jonathan only. So since he left office, how many terrorists have come to visit us?
There are bandits and...
No, how many have come to visit us since Jonathan left office, since they are the better ones? So So, my dear, you see, God has a way of doing things. When you think that you are being clever, God will expose you one day. All the lies. I thought you heard what Dalong said over the week, that last week, Abi. That was an
I just mentioned that.
Good. Look at that. If not for people like that come out to talk, will you have believed what happened?
But he was in APC. He was also
in APC, yes, now. He told you now. He told you. Even John Fayemi of Ekiti State have said it. That they deceived the public. That they lied. In fact, he said that they lied. So, with these revelations, what else are you talking about? You want to tell me that APC didn't know what they did before they get into power. That is why they cannot perform. Yes, that is how God works. You cannot cheat God. You can't. God has a way of dealing with you and exposing you.
Barrister Darlington,
yes,
in 30 seconds, what is the way forward for us as a country?
The way forward is for 2027 for Nigerians to choose right, because we don't have any other choice. We are choosing to go democratic way. Yes, we have people in Nigeria who can do it. We have people in Nigeria. Not people who is always planning how to rig themselves into power, not what they did in office. Is it not performance that will guarantee you re-election? In Ghana, it was lack of performance that made the ruling party to leave office. It was obvious. Even they know.
And the former president came back. Now that you mentioned Ghana, our time is up, but now that you mentioned Ghana, there is, these stories on the Kunkum that former President Jonathan the northern part of the country now are trying to project him back.
They tried
Do you think he's going to accept? Because there was also that rumor in 2023, but it didn't happen.
They tried it in 2023. Jonathan did not even bother. I know that the patient will not allow the husband to go there. After what they suffered in Asoro. Don't you know that woman almost died there? And you want her to go back there. She won't allow the husband to go there. So let them look for who. There are people. It doesn't have to be Jonathan. It doesn't have to be Jonathan. There are people. Credible hands. If Nigeria don't choose right, then no problem. All of us are in it.
All right. Thank you so much, Sir Barrister Darlington. Of course, is VOP in-house analyst. He's always here every day to dissect stories and bring better perspective to the story. Thank you so much, sir, for joining me, even though it took almost all your time.
No
we hope to see you tomorrow, of course.
Yeah.
We'll go on a short break now and come back with more stories. Stay tuned. Welcome back. Turkish President Recep Tayyip Erdogan will visit Ethiopia and Somalia earlier next year after brokering a deal to end tensions between the two Horn of African neighbors. Reports have said this. The pair agreed to end their nearly year-long bitter dispute after hours of talk brokered by Erdogan, who hailed the breakthrough as historic. This dispute began in January when landlocked Ethiopia struck a deal with Somalia's breakaway region, Somaliland, to lease a stretch of coastline for a port and military base. Now Somaliland branded the deal a violation of its sovereignty, setting international alarms bell ringing over the risk of renewed conflict in the volatile Horn of African region. And now moving to Ghana, Ghana's iconic kente cloth has been inscribed onto UNESCO's representative list of intangible cultural heritage of humanity. This global recognition under the 2023 Convention for Safeguarding Intangible Cultural Heritage highlights the cultural and historic significance of the vibrant hand-woven textile. Originating from Ghana's Ashanti and Ewe communities, kente is renowned worldwide for its bold colors, intricate patterns, and deep symbolic meanings, embodying the creativity and identity of the Ghanaian people. Tourism Minister Andrew Agiapa Messe described the recognition as a testament to Ghana's commitment to preserving its cultural heritage. And from Ghana, we move to Mauritius, where police have issued an order for the arrest of the country's former central bank governor, Havesh Sheng Plan over alleged conspiracy to defraud the government. The action by the police anti-money laundering unit is the first significant one from the government of Prime Minister Navim Rangolam, who said last week the outgoing government had falsified the country's gross domestic product budget, deficit, and public debt figures for years. The police said in a statement that Sengolan was out of the country and would be rearrested as soon as he returns. And away from that, Africa Center for Disease Control and Prevention, Africa CDC, says the number of Mpox cases reported so far this year in Africa has surpassed 65,000 as death toll surged to over 1,200. Africa CDC Director General Jean Kaseya disclosed the continent has reported 65,711 Mpox cases since January, of which 14,241 were confirmed, with over 1,237 deaths. Also, data from the African Union's Specialized Healthcare Agency noted that last week alone, the continent reported 3,545 new cases, including 467 confirmed ones and 37 new deaths. Meanwhile, African CDC said 6 African countries, namely Gabon, Guinea, South Africa, Morocco, Zambia, and Zimbabwe, have moved from active transmission to a controlled stage. And now, according to the Kaseya, the African commitment is still losing pupils due to the ongoing Mpox outbreak, which has so far affected 20 countries. He called for concerted efforts against the outbreak. Mpox, known as monkeypox, was first detected in laboratory monkeys in 1958. The infection usually causes fever, rash, and swollen lymph nodes. This is still the African news. We'll go on a short break and return with business stories. Stay tuned. Welcome back. In business now, Indonesian President Prabowo Subianto is scheduled to attend the D8 Organization for Economic Cooperation Summit in Cairo, Egypt, billed for December 17th to 19, 2024. Now, Foreign Affairs Minister spokesperson Wuliansian Sobriat disclosed that at the summit, Indonesia will be appointed to accept the D8 championship from the current chairmanship, Egypt, for the 2026 to 2027 period. Indonesia's chairmanship of the D8 organization will begin on January the 1st, 2026. Sobriat said on Monday that this summit has important significance because its addition to being a regular meeting of the D8 because of the scheduled handover of the chairmanship. Established in 1997, the D8 Organization for Economic Cooperation comprises key countries from the Organization of Islamic Cooperation, including Bangladesh, Indonesia, Iran, Malaysia, Egypt, Nigeria, Pakistan, and Turkey. Meanwhile, Sobriat highlighted the increasing importance of cooperation under the D8 framework amid efforts by Global South countries to expand cooperation in economy and development. Cote d'Ivoire is turning to banks, including Standard Chartered PLC, for a loan of about $8,000 million for refinance upcoming maturities, according to sources. Netbank Group Limited and Rand Merchant Bank are also among the lenders taking part of the financing, sources said, on condition of anonymity because of the information that is not public yet. Now, separately, Mitsubishi UFJ Financial Group Incorporated is arranging a $400 million loan as part of a debt for development swap deal. The People said adding that both transactions are likely to be completed in the coming days. Côte d'Ivoire is improving terms of its existing debt after it saw a credit rating upgrade from S&P Global Ratings in October, when the company boosted the West African nation to BB from BB, a notch closer to investment grade. Debt swaps for environmental or social goals are gaining in popularity among emerging markets, governments, and with global banks. The arrangement, which typically takes place when a country faces high interest rates on its debt, involve guarantees from public finance institutions that help keep a lid on borrowing costs. And now rounding off for sports, the CAF Awards 2024 will shine a spotlight in African football's finest, bringing together players, coaches, and distinguished guests in a grand ceremony at the Palais de Congrès in Marrakech, Morocco, on Monday. The prestigious event, set to begin at 1900 local time, will honor standout performances in African football over the years. Iconic figures in the sport will gather to celebrate the talent and diversity that makes African football a cornerstone of the global game. Two renowned hosts will lead the evening's festivities: Kate Scott, as acclaimed international sports journalist, and Jalal Bolzara, a veteran Moroccan media personality, are the hosts. Kate Scott, a journalist with experience at CNN, Sky Sports, and CBS Sports, is a multilingual host fluent in English, French, Spanish, and German. She has hosted prominent global events, including the La Rue World Sport Awards, and recently led CBS Sports coverage alongside Thierry Henry, Jamie Carragher, and Micah Richards. Jalal Bozara, a seasoned Moroccan journalist with over 33 years of experience, returns to co-host the CAF Awards after his successful stint in 2022. Known for his works on popular sports programs like Le Match and Le Club, Bozara has collaborated with FIFA, CAF, and FRMF on various events. Well, with that, we'll round off the African news on Voice of the People television. Do well to subscribe to our YouTube channel. On YouTube, we are at Voice of the People TV. And on other social media platforms, we are at VOP TV Live. I am Promise. A good afternoon, and thanks for watching.